Happy Friday to everyone, and welcome back to this week's edition of our CampusView video newsletter. Again, still don't have a name for this. All right, so there's a lot on my heart, so this could be a little bit of a longer video. There's a lot of tension in America right now. This is relevant to all of us since guess where we live? America. And there's no way for us to, well, there is a way for us to escape it, but I don't think we are. We're here, we're in America, we're going to stay here. I understand that what we're seeing in our world right now is hard and it can be frustrating. And I was thinking, will somebody please tell me what happened to 2020? Goodness gracious, when the ball dropped New Year's Eve, I had no idea. I don't think any of us had any idea what the first 5 months was going to bring. I had a very different year drawn up in my head. The church, our outreach, our growth, trying new things, strengthening new relationships, expanding where we could go, leadership training, just our merger in the church and just continuing on with building great relationships from that. It's almost like Satan has been planning and orchestrating for some time behind the scenes to really go after us this year. Who knows how long he's been preparing for this? The pandemic, to divide us, pull us away from each other, to hit us financially, the politics of it, racial and gender tension. It's really unbelievable. And everyone everywhere being plugged into media and social media all the time, it doesn't help. I mean, it's in front of us always. It's information overload. It's opinion overload. It's let me tell you what I think about all this overload. And we can't really get away from it because we got to stay up to date. I get it. I totally do. We could even say, well, I'm going to unfriend people, or I'm going to turn off the TV and never watch TV again. Probably not the case. We can stop listening to the radio, but somehow, some way, we're still going to hear about it. It's still there. And I'm not even sure that we shouldn't face it. The thing that gives me hope, though, in all of this, of course, is God, first and foremost. And the fact that I'm facing this year and everything in it as a disciple of Jesus, as a man of God who loves the church and is surrounded by others who love God and who love his church, and to know that God is going to prevail in his goodness. That really is true. Even if other people don't prevail, and even if other Christians don't prevail, God is going to prevail, and I believe that we as a church at CampusView can prevail. It's crazy because many of us still react to this world as though it's the enemy, that the people who do bad things are the enemy, or things that we don't agree with, or things that, or things that people believe that we don't believe, that they're the enemy. But they're not. That's the big lie that we continue to hear and continue to believe. And the lie that sends us into a tailspin about everything that happens in the world. Ephesians 6:10 says this, finally, be strong in the Lord and his mighty power. Put on the full armor of God so that you can stand against the devil's schemes. For our struggle, it isn't against flesh and blood, but it's against the rulers, it's against the authorities, it's against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. There's another passage, that I want to quote here in Romans chapter 12. It says, do not conform to the pattern of this world. And then it says later in verse 9, it says, love must be sincere. It says, hate what is evil, cling to what is good, be devoted to one another in love, honor one another above yourselves. Never be lacking in zeal, but keep your spiritual fervor serving the Lord. It goes on, it says in verse 12, it says, be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, faithful in prayer. Share with the Lord's people who are in need. Practice hospitality. Bless those who persecute you. Bless and do not curse. Rejoice with those who rejoice, and mourn with those who mourn. Live in harmony with one another, and do not be proud, but be willing to associate with people of low position, or be willing to associate with people who are not like you, who think like you, or who believe everything that you believe. Don't be conceited. Do not repay anyone evil for evil. Be careful to do what is right in the eyes of everyone. And if it is possible, as far as it depends on you or on us as believers, live at peace with everyone, and do not take revenge, but leave room for God's wrath. For it is written, "It is mine to avenge." This is what God says. He says, "I will repay." If your enemy is hungry, feed him. If he's thirsty, give him something to drink. In doing this, you will heap burning coals on his head. And do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. So we are called to respond so differently than the rest of the world. Whether it's the religious world or the pagan world, God calls us to not conform to the pattern of this world. So whatever that thing is that might have you knotted up inside right now, or throwing you into a tailspin, I want to encourage you to shut out the noise, to not listen to all the things that, the opinions and things that people are saying out there. Be careful with social media. Be careful with the media, with the newspaper and with the radio. And in some cases, these things aren't helping. Bring your temperature down by trying to hear God in all of this. Read more, pray more, shut out the noise by going on walks and trying to listen to God. Honestly, that's what I need to do. It's important. I need to go on more walks. I go on a lot of them, but to shut out the media. I just, thinking back to January, I never thought that we would be where we are. It's crazy. So it's important for us to stay close to God through all this. We are getting closer to nailing down a plan for our reopening of CampusView Church. And in this week's newsletter here, click on the link in the Reopening on the Horizon article, and you'll see that what we've got so far. No set dates. Okay, we're kind of being vague about that right now because we're still trying to work on that. Yet we are looking at some dates in July. So read the article and it will explain more. Also, Sunday, CampusView live stream presents Acts chapter 14. Yes, I told you guys on Sunday that I would get to Acts chapter 14. And we're going to do that in our ongoing series of the book of Acts this Sunday at 10:30 a.m. on Facebook Live or Twitch. And then also pay no attention to any glitches we might have. As a matter of fact, just pray for us, all right? No glitches. Also, thanks to Randy for his message on Wednesday in the book of Joel. He closes out his 3-part series this Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. So don't miss it, again, either on Facebook Live or Twitch. Have an amazing weekend, my brothers and sisters. I love you guys so much. And again, thanks for hanging with us on this almost 10-minute video. All right, love you guys, and we'll see you soon. Stay strong.